Hey comic book fans, your pal David here, give you guys another edition of the Comic Fix. Now, it is the last of this week in reviews. In my previous video, I did some reviews of Batgirl issue number 12, Batman and Robin issue number 12, Batman issue number 12, and Gambit issue number 1, and finally, X-Men Legacies issue number 271. So in this issue of the Comic Fix, I'm going to be first starting and talking about the Ravagers issue number 12. The funny thing about the Ravagers is that it's a book series that I wasn't really expecting to be picking up on an ongoing basis. But it has really captivated me. It has made me want more. And it's a funny thing because it came out of the Cooling event in the Teen Titans book. And the Cooling event was just terrible beyond belief. But to have this great series come out of it makes it all worth it. Now the storyline is that the Ravagers have been captured by Brother Blood. And unknown to Brother Blood is that Beast Boy and Terra have come to save their fellow Ravagers. Beast Boy in the previous issue, he had a vision of Brother Blood, and so he goes out to figure out what Brother Blood has up his sleeve. But unknown to Beast Boy is that he is the key to get into the Red. Brother Blood wants to get into the Red because he wants to waken his master and bring his master into the world. The Red that I'm talking about is the same Red that you see in Animal Man. So it's really good to get this little crossover, or this little tying in to this grander world of the DC Universe in this book. So, with that being said, let's get into the good and the bad about this book. The good, I really enjoyed the art. The art in here is just so beautiful. But there is a negative to that. The artist, you can tell, has so much input into this thing, where there's 7 splash pages in this book. But the splash pages are done really well. But to have 7 of them in this one little 22-page story, it's a little too much for me to handle. Even though they were some really cool splash pages of Beast Boy transforming into his whatever he wanted to transform at the time. Also, there were some great character moments in this book. And you get to see the sense of all the hell that they went through in the Cooling event is still taking effect into who these characters are in their life. And see where they're going to go from there is the interesting part. Are they going to be like the traditional superheroes that we know and love? Or will they someday become villains of their very own? So there's some really cool stuff to be had in this book. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give the Ravagers issue number 4 a 4 out of 5. The only reason why I didn't get a 5 out of 5 was because of the 7 splash pages in this one issue. Next up, Resurrection Man issue number 12. This is the second to last issue in the Resurrection Man series. Usually when this series is so far along, I would not recommend people to pick this series up. But this book was hella fun. We find Resurrection Man in this virtual reality simulator that the enemy has put him in. In this virtual reality, you would think they can't harm him. Well, it is. And it's so cool to see what he is going through in this virtual reality. He eventually gets out, but all the fun that you had in that virtual reality just makes this issue just so much better. But the revelation at the end of this issue has made this series so much better. And it makes you think, could the series actually go on even though they're canceling the book? Which I sure as hell hope so, because I've really been getting really enthralled with the storyline that the writer and the artist have been putting us through the last year. The series started out really slow at the beginning, but towards the end, everything's coming together so nicely that you just wanted to continue, and I'm sad to see it go away. And I'm really excited to pick up the Zero issue, because I do think that if they weren't having that Zero month, that Zero issue would be just another issue number 13. Because as it said in there, all things will be revealed in issue number 0. So I wish that they would not just call this issue number 0, but issue number 13. Because this is not going to be an origin story of who Resurrection Man is. It's going to be the conclusion of this whole entire series that's been going on. But there's little faults that I could find in this book. I had really fun time with the story. The artwork was really good. And the revelation at the end just made this whole book just worth it. So in the end, I'm going to give Resurrection Man a 4.5 out of 5. Really good book. And I would suggest that everyone go and pick this book up in a volume if they find it at their local comic book store. Because it was a really good read. I think that everyone should take a little test drive with the series and see if they actually enjoy it as much as I have. Next up is it's a god-awful book, Superboy, issue number 12. In here we see mostly Superboy on the dance floor, trying to be acting like a human being. And you see some inner monologue with him. And you're really bored throughout this whole entire book. And in this book, he's on a date with like a Paris Hilton type of character, and it was just really uninteresting. And in the middle of all these dance scenes and just like this boring story that's going on, we find out that this girl who's just like Paris Hilton named Dallas, she has some baggage, and some mafia type of characters want some money from her because she owes them money. So it's up to Superboy to protect her. And does that sound interesting at all? Because it sure as hell was not. There was a lot of bad in this book. The story was just terrible. The artwork was just bearable. And I was not interested in the story whatsoever. I mean, there was nothing in here that made me feel this is a book that I would promote for anybody to try out. This whole entire Superboy, the New 52, has just been mediocre to terrible. And I'm sad to see that. The guy who's writing Teen Titans, Scott Liddell, I think his name is, he is not writing this book anymore. Is Tom DeFalco, and the last 2 issues he's put out has been just terrible. But the thing that I actually kind of enjoy, or kind of like where the series is going, is that it's not just another Teen Titans issue. Because with Scott Liddell writing Teen Titans and Superboy at one time, he made Superboy feel like a book that was just a tie-in to everything that was going on in Teen Titans. And therefore, like, he could go off on his own and find out who he is. And that's where Tom DeFalco has been trying to take this series, but he's been doing it in a way that just is very uninteresting. And I would not suggest anybody go and pick up this book series. It's just terrible. I mean, Tom DeFalco, he's putting Superboy in situations that you're just really bored with, really, really fast. And then when the action sequences do happen, specifically in this issue, it's all about Superboy dealing with his demons inside of him and having a fight with a person that has mental telekinesis powers just like him and can go into his brain. So he has to fight her in his brain, and it's just really dumb to see how it all ends up. So it was just a terrible issue, and I would suggest nobody to go and pick this book up. So I'm going to give Superboy issue number 12 a 1 out of 5. Just really awful book. I mean, I just wanted it to like just fold it up, just be like, this is terrible, I don't want to read this shit. But for you guys, I will. And finally, Suicide Squad issue number 12. So, Suicide Squad has been a really cool series. that has so many twists and turns in there. With each issue has a really cool twist at the end. But this issue has taken it to a whole new level. Not even halfway through, at the beginning of the book, we get a cool little twist that a character who we think is dead is now alive. And then after that reveal is where this book became twist after twist after twist after twist. And with all those little twists, it just made everything feel so watered down that you're like, Adam Glass, are you running out of ideas, or is DC telling you, get done with your story because we're going to cancel your book? So try to put what you would put in 13 or 16 issues, try to put it into like 13, and then we'll cancel your book. So it feels like that DC's pushing them to get done with this series really quick. Because I do know that there hasn't been any things going out saying that, hey, in our fourth wave, these are the books that are getting canceled. But with this one issue, it feels like DC's pushing Adam Glass to tell a story before his book is canceled. So the storyline is simple. The Suicide Squad have to go kill this one certain character. And this one certain character has a name that I don't know if anybody tried to pronounce because it's just so weird and different that you're like, really, guys? Is that really his name? But with that, I did enjoy this book up until the part where it became twist after twist after twist, and everything just became watered down. But the great thing about this book is that Adam Glass has really gotten down Harley Quinn. And where Harley Quinn is not her usual, like, psycho self. She is actually back to being her original personality as the Dr. Quinn, I think. I can't remember her real name, but that's who she is right now. And so it's interesting to see the little character development that happens with Harley Quinn. And in this issue, it keeps on coming, and it's just so cool. And there is a point in there where Deadshot and Harley Quinn are back to back, and they're about to be fighting some certain people. I won't say who they are. And they have banter back and forth about Harley Quinn putting the face skin of the Joker on Deadshot. And that was a really cool moment, and that's what I come to this book for. Adam Glass can definitely get this TV feel for the series. And I love all the twists and turns that come with the series. But this issue in particular, with all the twists and turns, everything just came watered down. Where it became twists and turns with every single turn of the page. And I'm hopefully that this book does not get canceled. But that's the way it's feeling. It's feeling that DC's pushing them, saying, get done with your story because we are going to cancel your book. Even though you planned on doing a 2-year storyline that's going to be halted halfway through. So that's the end of this weekend reviews. Oh yeah, I better give this Suicide Squad final score. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. So this is the final reviews for this week. In my next video, I'm going to be doing my pick of the week. And it's going to be a really surpriser if you don't watch my videos. If you do, you probably know who it's going to be. Well, my name's David, this is The Comic Fix, and I'll see you guys on another edition.